There is something profoundly mysterious about the breath. It is the only function of the body that is both involuntary and voluntary. It occurs without our asking, and yet it can be guided with intention. This quiet paradox holds the gateway to inner freedom. Most people breathe to survive, but few breathe to awaken. The secret lies not just in breathing itself, but in how one relates to the breath. At first glance, breath appears simple. It goes in, it goes out. But what happens when one starts to pay attention to this ebb and flow? Not manipulate it, not force it into rhythm like a musician snapping his fingers to keep tempo. Just notice it, just watch. A strange clarity begins to emerge. The world, which once seemed thick with noise and motion, begins to soften at the edges. One sees that thoughts, like leaves on a river, keep floating past, and the river is the breath. And the breath never judges the leaves. It simply flows. To live in this awareness is not a retreat from life, but a full-hearted entry into it. Witnessing the breath is a humble act of nobility. One does not need a palace or crown to feel regal in that moment. There is sovereignty in stillness. There is elegance in presence. The breath, when observed without interference, teaches that life is not a problem to be solved, but a dance to be attended with grace. In yoga, the breath is a craft. It is molded, stretched, deepened. It is sculpted like clay in the hands of a mindful artisan. This conscious breathing is powerful. It builds vitality, it sharpens awareness, it clears the stagnant fog from the mind. It is the breath as an instrument of transformation. But there is another layer still, more subtle than intention, more tender than willpower. That is the art of witnessing. To witness the breath is not to do something with it, but to do nothing at all. It is the quiet trust of a monk watching clouds drift across a mountain sky. It is the art of not getting involved, not changing, not fixing, just watching. This requires a different kind of strength. The strength to sit in the unknown, the courage to resist the urge to fix every discomfort with doing. It is a noble kind of laziness, one that is deeply engaged and fully alert. Through this witnessing, a subtle miracle unfolds. The mind, which has spent years barking orders like a restless general, slowly steps back. It stops marching, it stops screaming, it stops rehearsing conversations and plotting futures and replaying yesterdays. It begins to realize that the breath has been here all along, steady as an old friend. And in that realization, the mind bows. In that space between breaths, something eternal peeks through. Not dramatic, not loud, just a gentle hum of being. There is nothing to attain because nothing was missing to begin with. The breath becomes the proof. Most people run through life trying to catch up with peace, but peace was never ahead of them. It was under their nose, literally. The inhale and the exhale, the pause, the return, the gentle wave that asks for nothing but attention. Not control, not perfection, just presence. Perhaps the wisest among us are those who have learned to sit quietly and watch themselves breathe. They do not chase experience, they let experience come to them. Like cats basking in a sunbeam, they rest in awareness. They do not grasp, they receive. They do not climb, they root. To those who seek power, look not to the loud, the busy, the hurried. Look instead to the one sitting in stillness, eyes soft, spine tall, breath steady. That is the true master. For in the temple of the body, the breath is the prayer. And in the silence of witnessing, the divine replies.